All right, we're back. This is a historic day for the world of sports today. So just let you know, two major things happened today. First is Lionel Messi equaled Pele's record for scoring the maximum number of goals for a single club. So it was 643 goals today. And another record also happened. India also equaled another record. No, not what you're thinking. India equaled Yuvraj Singh's record, the record that Yuvraj Singh had created once against Stuart Broad's bowling in 1 over, but we took the entire innings to create that record of 36 runs. And this was also historic. That apparently also happens to be India's lowest total in the history, not the lowest total in the history of Test cricket, because I think that's some Bangladesh or Ireland or some other team, which is around 29 something. But okay. So in the last podcast, I was pretty much half asleep. I did not know where I was. Bikram was fairly delusional and also thought that Rohit Sharma can actually open for India. I don't know. There was some kind of jugaad that he was looking for, that because now that he's clinically fit, whatever the fuck that means, clinically fit. So clinically fit, I Googled it. What it means, practically a person who can walk is called clinically fit. I was like, yeah, he could walk, like that's just clinically fit. So as I said, and a lot of our facts were all over the place. We were thinking Rahul will play, and we had no idea who the hell is playing, and we didn't even think that Prithvi Shaw was going to play. I thought this was a joke.
Yeah.
And then the joke kept going so far, it went eventually that Prithvi Shaw got selected. But one thing we were very certain on that day, even after the team was announced the day after we did the podcast, I texted Vikram and I texted you. I was like, Sehwag might as well play right now in his state. He's got 16 bellies and Sehwag will play better than him, because I am very clear, and I was always been clear after seeing him play, that he does not belong in Test cricket, and not in Indian jersey, and not even in fucking Indonesian jersey, which is, they don't even fucking play cricket or something. So, but obviously Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli decide to flush down the toilet all their cricketing knowledge and wisdom that they accumulated over the years, and they choose this guy over KL Rahul and even Shubman Gill, who seems like a freaking real decent batsman, right?
Yeah.
So, I heard, by the way, Bikram, I told somebody, as though well, it was a bold move. I was like, dude, it was definitely a fucking bold move, because not in the first innings, this guy also got bowled in the second innings as well. That's how bold this move was. Yeah, exactly. And he was not even playing shots. We were like, okay, I'm playing shots, it's going all over the place. This guy was forward defensive, cleaned up.
Yeah, it was so bad that even JJ Bumrah batted better than him.
Dude, I've been informed today when my friend, who is not at all reliable, that's Nitwit, he said he apparently was playing with Sachin Tendulkar's bat or something, which was given to him by Sachin Tendulkar.
Okay.
So I don't want to tell my old joke that he looks like Tendulkar and he plays like Sehwag, but he has talent of neither. But obviously not many people are watching the podcast, so there's people like, oh, this is a good one, Then if you start watching podcasts, you're like, why are you saying that 4 times? Stop saying that, which happens with Rogan. All right, Bikram, question for you. What do you think was more, what do you think about, briefly, Prithvi Shaw's selection? That do you really think that it merited at just stretch your imagination as much as possible, just say anything, that was it warranted, and how much it impacted India's chances, and how much was it responsible, apart from the 36 runs that they scored in the second innings, that Prithvi Shaw's inclusion, and what happened at the very start, it just became really brittle, because I thought it was really crucial to India's defeat.
Yeah, I think so, because openers are very important in Test matches. They are the ones who actually blunt the ball, so that your middle order, which always consists of your best batsmen. So if you see any middle order, the best batsmen in the team, they will be playing at number 3 and number 4 or number 5. But then if your openers are exposed, and he was literally a walking wicket, right? And this was not a surprise when he got bowled first time, and then the second time people were like, yeah, this was supposed to happen. Everyone was saying that, and yeah, I mean, opening is, you already have a new opener in Mayank Agarwal. He is relatively new, right? He's not he's not played many Test matches, and then you have this guy who has done nothing apart from, I mean, in the recent past, right? He has a Test 100, but that came against West Indies, when they were touring in India.
Apparently New Zealand or something. Apparently on a balls swinging everywhere. But the point we've been making, that if you see his recent performances, I'm not saying recent, just his technique has been exposed. See, one time things can happen. By the way, Praveen Amre, you have no, I don't even know if you know who this guy is, but I know. You might know. He was coaching for a long time. Praveen Amre scored a century in the very first innings of his Test match, right? After that, Nothing happened, and then he became a very great coach.
Then this
so
guy,
things can happen. The blood can flow at the right time. It can happen because Shikhar Dhawan also scored a brilliant century against Australia in the very first Test match he played, right? But Shikhar Dhawan is not in the Test team. KL Rahul is not in the Test team. Shubman Gill is not in the Test team. Nobody is bloody in the Test team, but this guy deserves to be in the Test team. Why does this guy deserve to be? Shreyas Iyer, anybody can open better than this guy, right? There are tons of players you can name who are just much better openers than this guy, but this guy gets nod against all the other people that in India's talent that we have. He gets nod against all the people, including Shikhar Dhawan and everybody.
And I was,
how do you? That's just inexplicable.
I think it's not it's not really something surprising. It's a joke. I'm not serious, but basically I was speaking with my friend, and he said, "Really, did they select him? How?" Then I just jokingly said, maybe they want to end his career real soon so that they don't have to select him again. And that's why they have taken him. And it has happened. It's not just the team. His morale would have also taken, huge dip. Plus, he dropped a very simple catch as well of Labuschagne. I don't know how he's pronounced.
Labuschagne.
I mean Labuschagne, yeah, but he's South African, so his name is different. So anyway, and drop catches. There were plenty of drop catches, but that one was the simplest of them all. And eventually, he went on to make decent amount of runs. If you just in a low scoring match, you can't drop so many catches, right? So yeah, he it's not that he was doing really great even before the series, right? He even in IPL he was on off, he was dropped. Then
he was really bad. He was picked again, then he was even worse.
Yeah. So I don't know what was the reason behind it. There was some pressure from selection committee. I don't know. I don't feel that Virat Kohli would be pressurized into anything. He got Anil Kumble kicked out from his job, so I don't think that he would be pressurized by anyone. So yeah, really baffling, and one of the biggest reason for this, because in a low scoring match you need your top order to perform, right? At least anyone.
Yeah, well, that just made me think why KL Rahul wasn't selected, because obviously KL Rahul is now Kumble's in Indian terms will be like, okay, he may be Cham Cha or something like that, because he's definitely playing under his tutelage right now. So now, as I was saying to you that once Australia found out that they're going with Prithvi Shaw, they said we might as well go with Joe Burns, who's also made like almost 0, 1, 2, 5 runs, right? Or just to give you a bit of a picture that the people who did not get picked for Joe Burns, Usman Khwaja was the worst of all of them, like in the average, and he's averaging 56 in Sheffield Shield, which is like our Ranji Trophy. Sean Marsh, who's like people like, oh, he's not any good. He was averaging 97. Bukowski was averaging a ridiculous 247, but he had concussion, so he could not get selected. Marnus Harris had 118 averaging. Wow. And all these people were not picked, but they wanted Joe, whose average, not average, his total runs were 57 and his average was 11.4 in Sheffield Shield this season. Plus, on top of that, all the 4 innings that he played in the tour matches, he flopped in all of the matches. In fact, he kept scoring less runs, and he couldn't score any less because he went to 0 at one point. So he could not score any less than that, because there's no minus runs you can be given, at least until now. So, but the difference between Prithvi Shaw and Burns is that Burns is actually a test opener and actually a genuine batsman who is just going through a really tough patch. So it's the thing that once somebody gets going, they can score. But Prithvi Shaw is not a test opener. He's not even a T20 opener right now. So, I mean, when on earth would you ever imagine in your entire life, Bikram, that somebody who fails in T20 will be picked for test matches? And I'm not talking about people like, oh, Pujara. I was like, no. Pujara doesn't play fucking T20. Yeah. There's a difference between that. I'm not telling you that who doesn't play. He's a specialist for test. There's a specialist, there's a specialist. But I'm saying somebody who's never played a test match in the first place, never one day, that's where you see people, right? T20, maybe this guy has a potential to do something. But when these guys fail at the lowest form of cricket, which is T20, and then you get picked for test cricket, and when you're also failing in test cricket, in the warm-up matches, 2 matches, all 4 innings you
Right.
flopped. One, you threw your bat around where like everybody was clicking. Where in even the match that everybody scored like hundreds,
Yeah.
this guy scored like almost like 1 or 2 runs in that match. So it was pretty terrible. So that's why I thought the difference between Joe Burns and this guy was this. And obviously we found out in the second innings. But again, to be fair to everything, that once Joe Burns came out in the second innings after what Australian bowlers, particularly Hazelwood and Cummins, did in the second innings, then pretty much you can just go out and just play your goddamn game, and you could feel. Now the worst problem is this guy actually got few runs under his belt, did not get out, scored half century at the right time when he hit a 6 to win the match for Australia. Well, God forbid once Rahane comes out, because I think Virat Kohli is leaving.
Yeah.
At least I've not heard anything otherwise. I don't think it will change.
No, I don't
And
think
now he has 2 days extra.
Yeah.
He has 2 days extra because the match finished on the 3rd day. So he might as well just go out and chill out for that time. So that did not work out. I thought Prithvi's selection was one of the major catastrophe for India, because if there was somebody else, as you said rightly, that Mayank is a good batsman, but he's new. So he needs somebody more solid on the other side, somebody who can really slug it out.
Yeah.
But then what he got was Prithvi. He was like, fuck, this guy's out. It's difficult and I'm stuck. I'm like screwed. And then Pujara comes in, who does not score for the first 50 deliveries or something. That's a contract that he has. So somebody has to score. So when Mayank tries to go for it, and then the second innings was anyway getting difficult. In fact, he got dropped on the very first day when they came out to bowl like 5 or 6 overs, and he was dropped off Cummins. So he was lucky, but then, well, did not last long, did it?
Yeah. Correct.
So that did not work out. Why do you think that batsmen are playing so terribly in Test cricket? It was not. See, India's thing happened. That can happen. Obviously, it was really, really, really fucking bad. But it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
It's like a domino effect. Once you start like bobbling, and then if you can't get through the first few deliveries, you're gonna get out, because it's very difficult at the beginning, and because your mind is like not stable at that time. So can happen. But in general, the batsmen have been really, really struggling on really good, juicy wickets. And this was not even a juicy wicket. This was just a very good, friendly wicket for batting also. If you got going, you can actually score very easily.
Yeah.
So generally, people always blame Test cricket is boring, Test cricket is like dead. But I think the Test cricket batsmen are dead, because Test cricket bowlers are... Why do you think bowlers are bowling so much better than actually batsmen?
Yeah, I think it's just in Test cricket, they get some help. Even if the pitch is very flat, at least because of the red ball, which swings for a longer period of time, and then at the end it reverse swings. So they get something. The boundaries are also not brought in, because in one day as in T20s they bring in the boundaries as well. So they get some amount of help. Wide deliveries are also not considered wide if you bowl. So that's why I think bowlers need bowlers in the Test format. At least they get some help from the rules or from the playing conditions, and they just make use of that. And the batsmen, they are used to playing the limited over cricket, and they have this. The ball doesn't swing after 5 overs. Ball just comes out straight. The boundaries are in. The fielding restrictions are there, so it's very easy. And suddenly, when you land into Test arena, everything is against you, right? It's not really against you, but it's more balanced. It's still a batsman game, even Test cricket, but it's still more balanced. So I think it's just the effect of the one-day cricket, the limited over cricket, not just one-day cricket. One-day cricket, compared to T20, it has become slow now. But it's just the effect that there's no patience involved. Look at Pujara, right? I don't see any other batsman like him. And Test cricket is for 5 days, and you need to spend time. The runs will come, right? Even Virat Kohli in the first innings, he played really slow, but he ended up making 71 thanks to Rahane. But yeah, I mean, it's just the patience is not there. Batsmen are used to having their way in the limited overs, and the bowlers are used to getting battered in the limited overs. So once they get some kind of help from the playing, at least the playing conditions, I think they just grab it. by both ends.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much, I'll just add on to that the fact that whatever else limited over cricket the batsmen play, everything is in their favor. So what happens, they never have to face something which is really difficult. So whenever something goes into bowler's favor, the rules change accordingly. It's like, okay, we just bring the field in, we'll just, make it like, what is the first 6 overs called in T20?
Power play or...
Power play. So all that nonsense. So power play, this thing, other thing, put all the fielders in. There's a grass, cut it off. Put the roller on. So Test cricket is real cricket.
And then, in one-day cricket, they have started using 2 balls now, so that you can't reverse swing as well at the end.
You can't reverse swing. So every time a batsman is like, batsman's getting out, they'll find a way for him to not. By the way, I don't know why you said the words favorable. It's not favorable. In fact, test matches also, you can't just bowl constantly, keep bowling bouncers. In fact, why should you not be allowed to bowl bouncers? But that is saying it's maybe too difficult for batsmen, so we'll let you do this, all this stuff. Now, the fact is, Test cricket is very, very difficult for bowlers. They don't have to bowl 4 overs or 10 overs. They'll probably end up bowling 40, 50 overs, right? In an innings, I'm saying. And they can end up bowling like 70, 80. Like as a spinner, you can end up bowling like almost 100 overs as well if your luck runs out completely. So it's very difficult on them physically. And for a batsman, we play cricket, right?
Yeah.
For a fast bowler, it's very, very difficult. And bowling is difficult. Batting is like you just stand at one place. And also if you're like Virendra Sehwag or Rohit Sharma, you don't even run in the first place. So that's like, it's just pretty chill. So when you're not tested, you really, all you're actually getting paid for entertainment. You start to hit everything, whatever you can see. When you come to Test cricket, when the pitches are not like, flat beds or just completely tarmacs or like, as if you're playing on a basketball court, that's not there anymore. Suddenly you're like, whoa, my technique is not developed for that. Your feet movement is not there. That's why when you saw Prithvi Shaw, what was happening was, although this time he was not playing stupid the way he was playing stupid in the T20, he was actually showing the forward motion. But the fact is, there's a lot of gap. When he moves, he's already too slow to move. Or he's not in the line of delivery. He's also not understanding how much it will swing. He has no idea about all those intricacies. By the way, when the ball swings, it's actually freakishly difficult, first of all. People need to understand. So when he's getting out, it's not that he's stupid. It's just very fucking difficult. That's why an opening batsman is somebody else completely.
Yeah, correct.
That's why you need a complete specialist batsman. Other thing is, fielding has gone down as well, because whenever we watch IPL, they always show us this 4, 5, 6 catches. Whoa, wonderful. What a crazy stuff they did. But under those 4, 5, 6 amazing catches, I always say that there's a shitloads of hundreds of catches that have been dropped, which are complete sitters. Okay. And that's somebody who doesn't understand. So when in Test cricket, we have never seen people dropping so many catches. In fact, Australia, who's been one of the best teams, like always been, even in 90s when the fitness levels were not that high, they didn't have all the technology, all the stuff, all the fitness coaches, all the sports science was not so developed. Australian fielders are amazing in the 90s, right? Even Australian fielders are nowhere near as good as, they seem very athletic, but they keep dropping a lot of catches. You would never have thought Australia would have dropped that many catches. And then India dropped, I think you said 6 catches we dropped,
6
right?
easy catches and one was a bit difficult, but could have.
Yeah, easy catch. See, difficult I don't want to count, because what happens, they stick and they don't stick. It just, things happen. But when you drop easy catches, because I also thought that India eventually got 53 runs lead, right? I thought India could have easily got a 90 to 100 run lead, and that would have made a lot of difference in the mindset way. Because when Australia came out, they thought they did well, because they were like 7 down for like 100 odd or something, and then they ended up piling around 80 extra runs.
Momentum change, and they got
momentum change, and when these guys came out. And then they saw Prithvi. No worry, Prithvi is there. He will give us the opening. Everybody, no matter what happens, you need an opening. And that's why when India came out to bowl, they could not get the opening. Right? They needed to get somebody out. They could not get. Once you get a breakthrough, next batsman is like always, there's some jitters, right, for the first couple of overs. And it can happen. And because they had also gotten them out last time, and Steven Smith hadn't scored like a solitary run the first innings, they could have still actually done like 5, 6 wickets down. That can happen. That can still be encouraging. But what eventually happened was that they couldn't get anybody out literally. Eventually they just got, because they were just playing a couple of shots. So it has been very difficult. So I would say the things I am saying that were responsible, I don't want to use the word blame. First of all, I'm not blaming Prithvi, because Prithvi did not select himself. If tomorrow Indian team calls, hey Bikram, we are selecting you, you'll be like, all right, just prepare a lot of padding for me, but I'm gonna come, because why on earth would I not show
Yeah.
up? You're just selecting me, right? He's not selecting himself. He's saying, in fact, I'm making zero and I'm doing everything for me not to be selected. Then you say I'm selected, and I'm like, okay. So it's a selection problem. It was a terrible selection. So not Prithvi, but people who selected Prithvi. And second was the drop catches, 6 lolly dolly catches that they dropped.
Yeah.
Those were the thing. And then the obvious one, which is there, that 30, once you score 36, then you just screwed, obviously. But if those catches were not dropped, Prithvi would not, India would have had more than 100 run of lead. And then when they would have come out to bat, the momentum would have been more with India than Australia. And then somebody else would not have given them opening, because I don't think Rahul would have crumbled as easily, or even Shubman Gill for that matter. Because these two players at least are in the squad, right? People say, well, Shikhar is not in the squad. Well, why the hell is he not in the squad? But Bikram, I don't know how much you understood, but when I saw Prithvi's name, I really thought in the squad, I thought this was a joke. Like, Quick Info is like just completely losing their plot, because, and I was like, and I've never felt like that about anybody. Because I'm like, did you see how he was playing? Did you see? It's not like you in bad form. His technique looks. I mean, if you listen to our podcast, we're constantly saying his technique is all over the place. This guy needs to spend at least 12 to 18 months, like just working on his technique, and then he needs to come back for something like a real cricket. Okay, really on swinging pitches, understand how the swing works, what will happen, how he needs to cover his wicket and everything. Go back to Rahul Dravid's academy, whatever he needs to do. But then these guys say, no, we're just gonna throw, like, you know, sometimes this is a technique. They say, throw the people in and they'll figure it out.
Yeah. Throw it in the water.
Dude, you're not a cow's baby. You're not a hen or something. You can't do that stuff. You're a human being. We're very slow. We need to learn certain things. You can't just throw somebody, and then you throw somebody in front. Mitchell Stark, Josh Hazelwood, and Cummins, and then Nathan Lyon, and everybody's like, and Cameron Green. That guy is 6'7", man. And Prithvi Shaw is like, oh boo. And with his arm goes up, Prithvi like, where is the ball? I can't see. But don't worry, it will never come to Cameron Green, because this guy, Prithvi is so green, he just takes like 4. I think eventually he just ended up playing 6 deliveries altogether in the entire test match.
Correct.
It's just very, very, very weird stuff that was happening. So let's talk about our caretaker captain, because ever since he got Kohli run out, it was just very odd, and I always feel sympathetic towards people, because shit happens. It happens very quickly, and then it just happened. He didn't realize that Kohli would have gone so far. He realized it couldn't be run. He said, no, Kohli is already too far. Now Kohli is fucked. My point was, he was on 41, because we always say now he will always end up making some runs, so he cannot be dropped. He was on 41, looked pretty fine, playing like himself. Then he added one more run to his tally and got out on 42. Did not want to take a review. Then this guy came like, please come and take a review. Please take a review. It's like, I'm out. Don't worry. I'm just already depressed. Then he comes out in the second innings. He makes a 0. So what I'm saying is, after that thing, he didn't look like the same player. And then he scored only 1 run after that. India collapsed. Virat Kohli is leaving. He's the captain. Caretaker captain, but just without choice. It's like, you have to be now. What do you think is going to happen? Because the $7.55 question is that, can he really do it? When I say can he do it, I mean, can he actually stop this whitewash right now?
Seems very hard. But again, it's not the same Australian team we're talking about, right? They gave many chances as well.
No, let's cut that out, because that is always going to be there now. Till Australia becomes like, showcases something else completely over a period of at least a year, and consistently, and doesn't seem wobbly. Okay,
so I would
just leave that out.
So I would say it's very pretty difficult, because even Shami is injured. The way he got injured and the pain he showcased, I don't think he'll be part of at least 2 tests, or I would say he would be out of the series. So Virat is out, and pretty much they are on. I mean, it's very difficult to come back after losing such badly, in such bad manner, and then your premier batsman leaving. So I would say that it's heading towards a whitewash, unless someone really does something well, because I don't feel that he has the caliber to do it himself. Someone will have to really play out of their skin, and see, that's the thing, because last series as well, Pujara was the main guy, right? He used to get in, but then because he used to get in, the other people used to make some runs, whether it was Rahul, some days, some 1 century, I think Virat also made, and he made 70 odd. Then this guy also made, Irahane made some runs. But now with Virat gone, they don't have anyone who can look solid and still make runs, because Rahane, he's just unreliable. He like what happened in the first inning. He was looking really good till 41 and then suddenly got out. So there's no one like that. No one to replace Virat Kohli, and the batting lineup is already fragile, right? We saw what happened today. So yeah, it's heading towards 4-0 now.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult, because why I was saying that, let's not consider that Australia has been a little bit, a little bit up and down, because in this match they were up and down and they won very convincingly at the end, right? So that was my concern, that even when Australia is not playing well, they're probably going to end up winning, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
And now also, primarily, if the Australian batsmen scored 470 and that's how they ended up winning, I would have said, well, it's the batsmen, so, I won't be surprised if they make 150 in the next inning. But the bowlers, they're already bloody good. They know they're good, and now they've completely destroyed India. Boy, it's going to be difficult. But I think Melbourne is India's great chance. I hope India wins the toss, comes out to bat, and tries to pile on around 400 runs, and then put some pressure on Australian batsmen, because if there's one chink, because of the injuries and weirdness that has happened, and they're not picking Khwaja. As I said, they could have easily picked Khwaja or Marsh or even Marcus Harris also, because their middle order is also like our middle order, right? Like it's like Travis Head is also like Ajinkya Rahane. See, like he's always been there, but he can get out. So we can get him out. So that kind of situation happens with Australian order as well. Now, I just one sec. It's gonna be mighty difficult. But I think Melbourne Test, the Boxing Day Test, can become very difficult. I think it's the best chance, because after that, I'm not sure what will happen. Rohit Sharma might join or not join. But let's be very honest. He'll probably come in on the fourth Test. This is not how you win Test matches. Your captain leaves, somebody else becomes captain. You don't have an opening slot. Your premier bowler gets injured. Rohit Sharma comes out, who's clinically fit. I mean, people are forgetting that all these 12 years he's been playing, he has hardly ever played Test cricket. He's a flop in Test cricket.
Yeah, correct.
He just hasn't worked out. Just because he scored a couple of double centuries or whatever shit he scored in recently in India, he didn't really score it outside, right? Yeah. And it will take a lot of physical effort, which Rohit has not done for a while. Now, one thing I will say that, although, as he says, you're not a doctor, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just going to say, you're saying a glass half empty, I'm saying glass half full. So what happens, unless he has a fracture or something, right? He's probably not going to get a hairline fracture. Again, as I said, I'm not a doctor, but I don't think you get a hairline fracture or something here. So as long as he doesn't have a fracture, why he's not able to move? Because the ball hit him right, like just smashed right into his arm, and it starts swelling. And if you hit certain way, you're not able to move your arm properly, and then you can't just bat. And also, he's not a batsman, so it's very difficult. Now, if that is just swelling, it will just swell up and it will obviously recede over the next couple of days. Also, the good thing is India capitulated in the third day, so he has 2 extra days. But because it's his bowling arm, we need to assess that how much pressure the bowling arm can take, and he's a fast bowler. How much pressure it can take, and he's like really fast bowler. So he's not one of those, like turning your arm and going for swing. He actually hits the deck, and if he's not able to do certain things, I don't think that will be a good idea. That if he's not feeling at least 95%, to actually go in and also ensure that he can actually last. Because if, God forbid, he's not able to bowl well, or he just crumbles, that's going to be even worse. Because we have Saini, who is your favorite, obviously, I know that. So we have Saini, and Umesh Yadav, as I talked about that time, that, why not Umesh Yadav, why Saini? And Umesh did bowl well. I think Umesh bowled exactly the way we expect him to bowl. Okay. And he did fine. So Umesh did well. Bumrah is obviously there. Good thing is Ashwin bowled well. So that's also a good plus for us. If this guy also gets better, and when we have Sydney or Melbourne, I don't know how Jadeja and everything will work out. But bowling should not be so much of a concern, even if this guy does not play. But I still feel, if it's not a fracture, if it's just a swelling, it just hit him hard, the swelling will recede quickly, and we have 2 extra days. Boxing Day test is on 26th. We have a week, complete week, but he needs to be back in the nets at least 3 days prior, so he can actually go and actually have a hit. So, but I just feel it's going to be really, really difficult. But only thing I'm relying on is practically not India, but Australia to fuck up, and India to win the toss and bat and pile on like 400 runs, or then actually get them out for 250 or something and get a massive lead, because second innings you can't be trusted. I'm not saying on this specific reason because we scored, but second innings is always difficult, and we just don't have that kind of thing. And Virat Kohli is also not there. Pujara did not really score very well, so it will be difficult. Also, Pujara has already played here, scored too many centuries. When that happens, and when you come next time, they're already super duper prepared for you, and they're going to choke you, not going to let you take runs, and sometimes get you out cheaply. So even if you play 200 balls, you'll make like 40 runs, which he did in the first innings. So they have plans for everything. That's the same way people are planning for Steven Smith, trying to choke him for his runs and trying to make him take risk, which he's not doing. So which means that he's just not going to score, and eventually it will get to him, and there will be a good delivery. When you're not scoring, you will get out. It just that's how it's rules of nature that happens. Now we are looking at David Warner might be coming back, because this is cricket, so we never get any news. The news are coming out from his wife.
Oh, okay.
Who was juggling the kids, and then she was saying, oh, he's training really hard. Why are you telling us he's training very hard? Why is he not in the camp? Why are the people in the camp not telling us? Why are you telling us this thing? But she said apparently he's really working hard to play. But then I'm thinking it's coming from the wife. Then the wife would say that about everybody. Like, oh, he's working hard, he wants to play. But she probably has no idea, just like us, that we're not a doctor, so he doesn't know. But if David Warner comes back, then you might as well say goodbye.
Yeah, correct.
Because Joe Burns is already playing well, then Matthew Wade can actually go back to his regular position down the order. And in fact, batting should not be so much of a concern for Australia, because they have tons of players. They just need to click. It's just going to be mighty difficult. Also, on the last note, unless you have something else, do you really think Prithvi's career is over, Test cricket?
No, I wouldn't say it will be over, but for immediate future, I don't see him coming back.
Well, maybe he can retire, because we just heard Mohammad Asif retired. He said, I'll just retire from all cricket because I'm sick of it. People just hate me. People want this. People say, I waited so much for him. He's ungrateful, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, weren't you away for 5, you were banned when you were 17, then you were banned for 5 years, which became 6 because obviously by the time you came back, you were already 24, 25. Now you're 27, 28. You're already retiring. You retired from Test cricket last year. What is happening, man? Maybe some problems with you. Also, he's from Pakistan, which is, I'm pretty sure Pakistan is even worse than India, because they just kind of destroy your mind just the way Indian people do. And they are like banana republic. Ours has become, because of BCCI making so much money, so people have become a bit more professional. But Pakistan is like what India used to be, like a banana republic. And then he blames other people. But you are the idiot who was fucking cheating on your country. Okay, you were the idiot who was cheating your country. So maybe you should understand. He's like, I've already taken the served my time, which is fair enough. But I'm just saying, dude, you need to do the hard yards. So people are complaining because you retired from Test cricket. Okay, and let's not make it about Mohammad Asif, but I'm saying it can be about the earliest retirement ever. He can just give up on Test matches altogether, because that will save him. He can just start playing his shots right, understand how he can become Viren Sehwag, because at certain point in time you also have to understand that Viren Sehwag cannot become Sachin Tendulkar. And Prithvi Shaw cannot. Sometimes you have to understand that if you start to worry so much about your technique, all your shots will go out of the window. Because it reminds me of one time when Viren Sehwag said that he was told that he needs to block the ball, understand which ball to hit, and have his defenses right. He said, somebody told me that, I listened to this guy, I don't want to name him, but it took me around 6 months to realize that was the worst advice anybody can ever give me. And I said, I'm just going to play the way I play. And I came back, I was like, yeah, don't ever talk to me. Do not give me that stupid advice of defending and getting my, forward defensive stance in place, and, make sure I'm this is how I play, this is how I'm going to play. But if he's not as good as Viren Sehwag, and also, by the way, people need to remember that Viren Sehwag towards the end of his career also got exposed. Another thing I see from Prithvi is, if you're a real professional, you're not batting well, You need to make sure you field well. You can drop catches. It's not about that. But when you see his physical state, he looks like little chubby person. You need to work so hard that you show people that I'm the person who is working super fucking hard. I'm not even fucking sleeping. I'm gonna take every motherfucking catch. And when he dropped that catch, the way he was moving back, you know what it reminded me? When I used to play cricket, that's how we used to move. A professional player does not move like that. Professional player does not move like the way he was moving. He was like wobbly in the air. Like I was like, dude, he just looks like a kid. And who's not worked so hard. And I think there's a reason why somebody else also came at a very young age, could not become. That was Piyush Chawla. And right now when you see Piyush Chawla, he's still what, like 30, 32 or something. And he looks so chubby. He's like fucking tummy's coming out. Because they didn't have it in them, like mentally. Because obviously Prithvi has so much talent. He's still 20 fucking years old. Already played in test cricket, already been touted as, all he needs to now make sure that he works his ass off, like for everything. And then he can actually be something like that. Because I don't think it's a joke. Right now it's a joke that he was selected, but it's not a joke that he actually has come up to this level to even getting selected at some level. Because obviously there's something about this guy which is sparkling. Because if this guy gets going, but you just can't rely on, I'm going to throw my bat, it will happen. It's just not going to happen, not in this day and age. Because as you said, people knew, it was no surprise. Mitchell Starc knew exactly what he was doing. Cummins knew exactly. Because if Cummins misses, Mitchell Starc misses, Hazelwood is going to get you, man. Because somebody's going to get you. And once you keep getting these low scores, even if you're smiling, it's going to get to you, man. And it's even if your career doesn't get over. But I think right now, for the next couple of years, he needs to really take a back step and really need to work on his technique if he really wants to be in the highest form, in the purest form, in the... I don't even know why we say highest form. This is the only real form of cricket. And then something can happen. So let's see what happens in the Melbourne Test, or as we call the Boxing Day Test. But do you think India has a chance in Boxing Day Test?
I don't think so. At least in this one.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult because you had a 2-1 going. I don't know what was the other match was was going to go.
2-1 was just for this match. The day-night match, I thought India will win, and they were in the position to win. And this was my exact logic, that I didn't trust the Australian batting lineup, and our bowling was really strong. It's the same thing, right? Their bowling is really strong, and our bowling is also really strong. And it was just between the batting lineup who will crumble. And Australia should have crumbled if the Indians, if we had taken all our catches. But that's how it went out, right? So now.
Yeah, I personally thought your logic was very faulty, but I give it to you one thing, that first of all, India had the upper hand. Second, I think you also did not expect fucking Prithvi Shaw to be selected. Exactly. So, to fair enough in that, like even if whatever I thought it was, how it eventually happened was, your logic was not completely faulty, because Indian batsmen played better, and then they just, I mean, what are you going to do if they're going to say 36? Who's going to predict that? Nobody would have predicted that, right? So you can't just blame that on that. But I think what went against you is that Prithvi Shaw went against you, all the drop catches. And then they just collapsed. And then just when they came out today, even with slight slender lead of 53 on this pitch, it was a nice lead. And also they had lost just one wicket because people expected Prithvi to get out last night, and Bumrah had survived. So they were like, maybe Bumrah can make another 20 runs and then just add on from there. How difficult could it be? Even if India made 150, chasing 200 odd, it's going to be difficult on the 4th-day pitch or something, right? Correct. And with the bowlers coming in, ball starts spinning, and already Ashwin is he got his best figures overseas, right? In the first match. So he would have destroyed it. But that happened. So if anybody feels that otherwise, because I think Melbourne pitch, because these are drop-in pitches in Melbourne, and Melbourne has had some really horrible draws. So I don't know what kind of pitch will show up there. But I think Melbourne, according to you, it was Adelaide. According to me, Melbourne is India's best chance. But if India does not win the toss, might as well just pack their bags and just go, or just pretend to be dead and just say listen, I just got hit, and I'm I just need to go home. Third person can be captain. KL Rahul is fuck you, man. I only screwed up in IPL. Do not screw my career. Do not screw my test matches. Prithvi can I become captain? People are you still here, buddy? I thought you were going with Virat Kohli. Then he's I don't even have a kid. He's you are the kid. You are the kid.
And then
please go.
Rohit Sharma will come. I am clinically fit, so I can become captain.
I don't know what happens with Virat Kohli, because I'm sure his flight tickets would have been booked accordingly. That his okay, people like, why are you talking like that? He's not like you. He has a lot of money. They can always change the tickets, and I'm not even sure they have to pay money or something. Whatever, how it works. But I'm just saying, like, tickets must have been booked, right? So he probably getting them changed, like making them earlier, because what is he doing staying there? Because now it's just very awkward. If India had won in 3 days, he might have just stayed, right? Oh, let's party. But now, like, I just gotta go now. Might as well. We'll do Zoom, okay? Zoom. This is the worst way to go, because the worst thing is he will always remember for the rest of his life that his son or daughter. I'm not saying he is having a son. I have no personal information. Whatever his son, daughter, gay, anybody is being born, he will always remember this. That this happened, 36 happened, and Yuvraj saying that if I was there, this wouldn't have happened, because I would have done that in 1 over only, and off Cameron Green this time. He is too green. I would have whacked him. People like, he didn't even bowl. Top talking logic. I'm Punjabi, man. What are you talking logic? Don't give me logic. So that would happen. So yeah, on that note, have a good day. Take care. Let's hope India wins something. That'll be nice. If India wins, the innings will come, like the series will come alive, and of course Virat Kohli is leaving. So well, let him leave. Let him have his son, babe. I'm not saying son, son, daughter, whatever happens. So yeah, good luck. Feminist. And today we're alive. Yeah. Take care. Have a good evening. Have a good day wherever you are. Keep doing whatever you're doing, and like and subscribe. Bye now. Bye-bye.